Hello everyone, I hope you're all well and keeping busy. This week I'm moving forward with a project that I've been working on and off on for a little while now. It is, or soon will be, a quiet play caravan with little room compartments for a kitchen, bathroom, bedroom and laundry room. I've already got all my pieces cut out as I wanted to test the pattern before recording, but the front and back of the caravan are made up of two pieces. A and B should be cut from different fabrics. Cut B on the fold as indicated on the pattern itself. So this piece came from a fat quarter which I folded in half with the wrong sides together, popped on the pattern piece so that it aligns with the folded edge and cut. The top half, which is pattern piece A, doesn't need to be cut on a fold, just make sure that you cut two of them. So let's get these put together before we move on. Open up the pattern piece B and place it right side up. Add one of pattern piece A along that straight edge right side down, so basically right sides together, and clip or pin them. Then rotate it and add the other piece to the other flat edge. Pin or clip that again. Now sew across both of those using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Finger press, or if you've got your iron out, press with that. The seams can be pressed open or simply to the darker side. So if you want the inner wall fabrics for each room to be the same colour, you can go ahead and cut two of pattern piece C on the fold. You'll also need one additional one as a backing for the right hand side panel. I just used a plain white fabric for that one. If you do want the backgrounds to be different for each room, add a 1/4 inch to the bottom where the pattern indicates it and cut 4 pieces and then join them together in 2 sets. Then simply cut one on the fold for the backing fabric that I mentioned previously. You'll also need wadding, 3 pieces, cut to the same size as the main panel piece. I prefer to cut a rectangle, roughly the correct size, and then trim them at the end. So go ahead and use the templates. if you've already purchased the pattern, and cut out all your pieces. Lay a piece of wadding on a flat surface and place the outer fabric on top of it. We're going to work on the front section, so as you look at it here, it will be the top section. Place the door piece using the layout diagram as a guide and sew around it to secure. Now just a quick note here, I left my glue marker at work, else this would have been a perfect time to use it. I'll link to it in the description, but it would basically have allowed me to temporarily stick the pieces down for sewing, which means they wouldn't shift at all. You can use any stitch that you like. I'm just using a straight stitch set at 4mm. Now repeat this to add the door glass section. Once that's sewn down, sew across into it so it looks like window panes. I would suggest using a different colour thread so it stands out more. I didn't, as I wanted to crack on with the sewing, and this was just quicker, but I think it would actually look better. Now add the window section in the same way. Add the curtains and sew them in place. And then finally, the curtain tie back can be stitched on top of the curtains on both sides. Now take the two wheel arch pieces and place them right sides together. Sew around them, leaving a small turning gap. Clip around the entire thing, except for the turning gap. Now, I promised someone I'd show the use of a bodkin for turning out, however, I couldn't find it anywhere, so I'm hoping using tweezers will explain it enough. It's basically the same thing minus the ring to keep the ends of the bodkins clamped together. So pop in the bodkin, ensure that you have hold of a little of the fabric on the inside and slide the ring down to grip, to force the two ends together. The ring will force the two ends together. In my case, I'm just going to grip the tweezers closed. So then carefully just pull it out. This is much easier than a safety pin, especially for smaller pieces. Tuck in the raw edges where you turned it out. You can stitch this closed if you prefer. Then fold it in half. Place the wheel arch and sew around the top half to secure it. So my next step is going to be to add a button. However, I designed this with lots of buttons and then decided it would be safer without, so I removed most of them to make it safer. Feel free to cut a circle from felt and attach that instead, so that you're using 0 buttons. The easiest way, if you're going to use felt to create a wheel, is to cut out an extra wheel arch section from felt and trim off about just over 1/4 inch all the way around. So sew on your button or felt wheel, pop it under the wheel arch and allow it to hang over that centre edge of the fabric so that when it's closed up it's still visible. Sew that in place, because I'm searching for a hand needle because I'm so well prepared. Right, so let me fold this up so that you can see the front of the caravan. It's pretty cute, even if I do say so myself. You can see though, had I glued the pieces down, they'd be less wonky. Not that I mind wonky, but still. You need to trim the excess wadding away, although I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this later so that I can do them all at the same time. So set that aside and lay your second piece of wadding down. Add the first inner panel piece on top with the fabric right side up. We're going to complete the bottom section, which is the bathroom. So take the bath and fold over the top edge a little. It doesn't need to be by much, just enough for the stitches to catch. If you're using felt, you won't need to do this because it won't fray. So in goes the spider and we sew across that folded edge. With that raw edge underneath, sew the bath in place, leaving the top open. Oh, tap. Take the tap and place it between the background fabric and the bath. Then sew. Right, sew the bath. Sew a little over the top right, then all the way around and a little over the top left. Remember to backstitch so that little fingers won't pull it, pull the bath off of the background fabric when they're playing. Sew down the tap to secure that in place. So as I removed all the buttons, I had to come up with a solution for the hanging rails for the bathroom, for the laundry room and for the wardrobe. I've taken a standard embroidery thread, which is anchor thread because that's what we sell, and cut 3 half-metre lengths. I've plaited those together and I then cut them to the sizes I needed for each section. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew across the 2 ends, backstitching a few times to secure them in place. And that's not on camera. Fold over the top of the towel section a little and fold it over and under the rail. Sew a few stitches on either side of the towel to keep it in place. Now we can give the room a little more character by adding a few bubbles. Play around until you're happy with placement, then simply stitch a line through them if you're using felt. If you're using fabric, sew around the entire bubble just so that they're secure. So that's the bathroom complete. Let's pop Ted in the bath so you can see. Love it. Next room. This will be the bedroom. The first thing we're going to do is create the wardrobe doors. Fold the fabric so that the right sides are together and then sew across both short edges. Turn right way out. She's been sat on the floor at the side of me meowing her head off for 15 minutes. I was hoping to get to a good stopping point before she finally gave in and jumped up, but that didn't happen. Back shortly. Sorry about that. Repeat with the second door. Then place the doors and sew down the outer sides. Before you sew the doors in place, check that the bed will fit. If not, just move the doors over a little. So as you can see, I used fabric for the doors. If you use felt, that would simplify things. As you'll only need half the size, so you wouldn't need to cut on the fold, and you only need 1 layer, not 2. But I wanted to use this particular fabric, so stitching the embroidery floss for the rail. There she is again. 1 second. Right, let me find one of the t-shirts. There you go. Lovely. Now you can place the bed section and sew around the entire thing to secure it. To make the pillow, place the fabrics right side together, sew around them close to the edge, leaving a small gap for turning. Clip the corners and then turn out using the tweezers or a bodkin again. Oh, I forgot to backstitch at the start, so I've pulled the stitches. I would have hidden that, however, it's a good teachable moment for the exact reason for backstitching. Hey ho, let's carry on for now. So we're going to pop in a bit of stuffing or leftover wadding. And then pull the fabric opening so that the fabric pulls inside, the raw edges will pull inside, and top stitch over that. You can hand sew this, you can sew a ladder stitch. I actually did a video explaining how to do a ladder stitch, which I'll link to in the description. That will make it look better, but as I plan to redo this part, there's no point in me doing that at the moment. Also, you could sew around the entire thing if you're careful enough, and give the pillow a ruffled edged look. Duvet time. So fold over the top edge a little like you did with the bath, and sew across that edge. Place the duvet on top of the bed and sew down the right, across the bottom and up the left, leaving the top open. Again, remember to backstitch at the start and end. Great, so let's put Ted to bed. Excellent, that works fine. So now we can move on to room 3. So again, fabric on top of wadding, right side up. This will be the kitchen section. So let's first place the lower unit, which will be the sink and oven. Sew around the entire thing close to the edge. Add the oven door. Again, glue would have helped here. Sew around that piece. If you use felt, you can get away with sewing down one of the shorter sides. I think I actually have put it on the pattern already. And that creates a door that's usable instead of a fixed piece of fabric. I did have a cake cut from felt put in there, but I can't find it. Add the tap and sew in place. Now I did originally have buttons on the oven section as knobs, but I removed them. Maybe add a few circles of felt. Again, I'll add an extra page of templates. Now place the top shelf and sew down the right, across the bottom and up the left, leaving the top open. Sew a line down the middle to form 2 pockets. And while you're doing that, add a line to the centre of the bottom cupboards too. Honestly, you could embellish this with extra handles for drawers under the sink, knobs on the oven, lots of other kitchen shapes. I'm going with what I originally designed and leaving the rest to your imagination. I will, however, add a few extra shapes to the pattern sheets, as I said. Day 2, because the cats wouldn't leave me alone and I figured I wouldn't get everything finished anyway, so welcome back. We're going to complete the laundry room. Place the washing machine down and sew around the entire thing. Add the door to that and sew around it again. Again, if you're using felt, just sew a small amount down one side so that it's a usable door. Add the detergent drawer and sew. And you know what's extra annoying? I located the glue pen and it's right there, right in front of me the entire time I was doing this section, and I completely forgot. Is anyone else as scatterbrained as I am when they're working on something? Now add the washing line by stitching over the ends of the embroidery floss as we've done previously. Next up, the washing basket or laundry basket, depending on where you are, I suppose. I cut this from felt, so simply place it on the fabric and sew a little on the top right, all the way around, and just a little on the top left. This leaves the top of the basket open for putting laundry inside. I cut lots of little clothes from felt offcuts. The template will also include these. Go ahead and trim all the excess wadding from the 3 sections. Lay the front panel on the bedroom and bathroom panel so that the door is on the right hand side, upside down on top of the bathroom side. Place 2 pieces of ribbon in the middle, one on each section, protruding a little. These will form ties for the other half of the inside. Also, the ribbon I'm using is from a fat quarter bundle. I always save them as they come in rather handy once in a while, such as now. So we need to create two handles. Take a piece of your fabric measuring 4 by 12 inches and fold it in half so that the wrong sides are together. Press that, then open that up and fold both sides in towards that press line. Press those again and fold over the entire thing. Sew down the open side, then optionally, I do it for symmetry, sew down the opposite side. You'll need to create two of these and I just finger press them. So that's one done. We're going to repeat that to create a second handle. Then move the caravan parts back in front of you. Place place a handle on either end. Pin these in place between the panels. The easiest way to ensure that you've got them aligned together properly is to pin one side, then fold it over and pin the other in the same place. Pin the ties you added before, the ribbons, to ensure that they're aligned with the middle seam where the two fabrics join. Now sew around the entire project at about 1/4 of an inch, leaving an opening gap. Go ahead and add a few more pins to show where I want to start and stop sewing. When you are sewing, backstitch the handle areas a little just to reinforce them. Clip around the entire thing Honestly, 1 centimetre apart is fine. I think I went a bit overboard. And cut away excess ribbon and handle fabric. Now turn the right way out. This is easier if you pull the handles through the opening that you left. Roll out all the seams as best you can. The more time that you take here, the better the finished piece. You may also want to consider pressing it at this point. Now tug either side of the opening to force the fabric inside and top stitch that closed. You can top stitch that section or go around the entire thing, or even use a ladder stitch to make it less visible. It's completely up to you. I top stitched it simply to move forward. Now we need to repeat all that with the other section. This time the ribbons need to be on the inner side. So as you look at it, on the left, there are no handles to add, so this is simpler. Just pop the backing fabric on top, right side down. Clip the ribbon in place and sew around the entire thing, again leaving a small turning gap. And again, I'm just going to pop some pins in there where I want to start and stop. This time you're going to want to use a little more than a 1/4 inch seam allowance, just to reduce the size of this the section that's going to be folded up inside. Remember to backstitch at the start and the end. So clip that again, and then turn it the right way out. Close up the gap. Again, use whichever method works for you. Then we can tie the ribbons together in the middle. And there we go. the right hand reams fold over onto the left hand reams, and then you fold up the bottom, and that's all encased with little carry handles. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and until next time, happy sewing!